Until very recently, many cynical critics have dismissed the idea of Shenmue 3 ever seeing the light of day. The even harsher ones belittling it as a slow-moving forklift simulator.
It's a fucking bullshit forklift simulator for assholes! You people have been fucking fooled! That game was never that good. It was just a bunch of like half-assed ideas put together in a way that you had never seen before. So when's Shenmue coming out?
The way I've always seen it, games are about the experience, not just about the gameplay. Shenmue was one of the most powerful gaming experiences I've ever had. It completely engulfed my existence and I regard it as nothing short of a masterpiece. As far as I'm concerned, Shenmue is one of the greatest games ever made. It's up there with Final Fantasy VII, Ocarina of Time, Grand Theft Auto, Halo, Super Mario Galaxy and Half-Life 2. It's a deeply engaging, richly detailed and heavily emerging quest about Ryo Hazuki, a young man determined to avenge his father, Iwaya Hazuki, a well-respected martial arts expert who was murdered right in front of Ryo by a man called LanDi.
I will not forgive LanDi.
LanDi, real name Zhao Longsun, has a cold, eye-piercing stare, a nasty scar across his cheek, and seeks two mysterious mirrors that together reveal the location to an ancient treasure that could help revive the Quine dynasty.
This is...
These 7 lights indicate the location of the treasure.
After killing Ryo's father, LanDi takes the dragon mirror, but is unaware Iwaya has both. Ryo discovers the Phoenix mirror in his basement and takes it with him as he follows LanDi to Hong Kong. Here he meets an old friend of his father's called Young Da-Zu. Young Da-Zu tells Ryo that LanDi sought revenge and killed Iwaya because he believed that Iwaya killed his father, Zhao. Zu advises Ryo to go to Guilin, where LanDi has gone. It's also the origin of the mirrors and the home of Bailu Village, a place where Iwaya and Zhao used to train. In Guilin, Ryo meets a young mysterious fate-believing girl who has been awaiting Ryo's arrival for a long time. Her name is Shenfa. She was named by her parents after one of the leaves from a tree in her front garden, a tree called Shenmue. Together, Ryo and Shenfa enter a cave looking for Shenfa's stepfather. Instead, they find a letter from him, a sword, and 2 giant carvings of the mirrors. The game ended on a cliffhanger, leaving loads of unanswered questions, and despite the game saying that the story goes on, the story was left in hiatus for many, many years. In 2001, Shenmue seemingly went down with the Dreamcast and was just as fondly remembered, but for many, the hope remained. A year later, in 2002, an Xbox version of the second Shenmue game was released in North America, 2003 in Europe. With rumours and suggestions from Xbox officials themselves that the future of Shenmue would be of Microsoft, although nothing was ever officially announced. However, due to underwhelmingly poor sales, nothing of the such ever happened. And then, there was this. In 2004, an unexpected announcement for a game called Shenmue Online was made, in which you can control custom-made characters and join one of 3 clans. The aim of the game was to complete tasks set by your respective leaders, which would involve lots of martial arts, leveling up, online interaction, and exploration of huge cities set in the Shenmue universe, weaving itself around the main storyline. I mean, the concept sounded interesting and would have certainly been a great successor to the conclusion of the main series. But with Shenmue 3 in hiatus, it wasn't really what the fans wanted at that particular time, and still isn't. Although the project was never officially shelved, it looks like that's very much the case. With development being almost non-existent over the last 9 years, I think I can safely assume it has been cancelled. It certainly says so on Wikipedia. Interestingly though, the detailed Shenmue Online trailer reveals that a manifestation of the dragon and phoenix, which relate to a beast that Master Chen mentions in the first game, called Chi-Yu. It's pretty obvious LanDi wishes to unleash this dangerous earth-devouring monster, but his reasons for this are not entirely clear. Is it to start a new dynasty empire? Or maybe he just wants to see the world burn? Whatever the reason, I bet it has something to do with the build-up of hatred that has stemmed outwards from the death of his father and the revenge he went on to seek. In 2010, a mobile game called Shenmue City was released in Japan only, presumably to recapture people's attention with what was more or less just a retelling of the events in the first two games. Unfortunately, the game didn't sell very well and lost support after only a year. Also in 2010, Ryo left his cave and jumped on the Yuki's motorcycle and even hopped in the old forklift to join Sonic and Friends in Sega's All-Star Racing game. It was really great to see him again, and of course it caused loads of speculation. In fact, in the PC DLC version of Transformed, Sega put a cheeky Shen 3 number plate on the back of his vehicle, which was the biggest goddamn tease of the century.
No. Father! No!
Capitalising on Shenmue's massive following ever since the demise of the Dreamcast, there have been rumours and teasers galore, with trolls having a field day every day. Articles were popping up left, right and centre claiming that Shenmue 3 had been confirmed, but of course it was nothing but clickbait and disappointment. Over the years, Shenmue has been announced and cancelled a number of times. Video Gaiden issued a campaign for fans to petition a sequel, which although made a lot of noise, unfortunately only lasted about 5 minutes. The most promising of these rumours was one by Kiki Zo, which claimed Shenmue 3 was finished and awaiting to be ported onto a new console. The source claimed it was extremely reliable and that Shenmue 3 was definitely on its way. I remember being particularly excited about this piece of news and eagerly awaited an official announcement. That was 10 years ago.
And thus the saga begins.
Since forever now, Shenmue fans have been clinging onto the hope that our third installment will materialise in some way or some form so that we can once again spend hours in a tomato convenience store, buying raffle tickets, spending days in the arcade, playing games, and weeks building up the ultimate collection of figures that miraculously somehow fits into Ryo's jacket and jeans or whatever the hell he puts them in. Ultimately, as time has gone on, it was looking less and less likely that we would ever see Shenmue 3. From a business point of view, or rather Sega's point of view, it was a very costly project and a massive financial risk for them to invest. And even though it wasn't directly related to the company's failings, that was more the PlayStation 2, Shenmue conjured up memories of the amount of money spent the first time round and the end of their very last console. But what I think they failed to see was a massive support from the fans and how much they were willing to help out to see the conclusion to such a well thought out, captivating story.
I'll take my revenge even if I have to sell my soul.
No! What'll happen to me if I lose you too?
I'll be back, I promise.
No! Please don't go! Sammy!
I wanted Shenmue 3. I felt it was guaranteed to be a stunning and emerging experience. However, as the years passed, I started to lose hope and didn't think I would ever get the chance to play it or that the cliffhanger would ever be resolved. But despite many logistical reasons, I retained a tiny little bit of hope deep down in my heart because I had and still do have such an emotionally powerful nostalgia attached to the game. I've been following the Shenmue dojo silently for years and commend their efforts to keep the Shenmue spirit alive. They continue to do a fantastic job, and it was good to know there were many other people in the same boat wanting the same thing. But how much longer could I have held out? Well, possibly forever I guess. After all, if I've been waiting this long, and if all the fans have been waiting this long and still retaining hope, then I guess we could have held on a little bit longer. Obviously none of us would have wanted to, but I think we still could have done it. Thankfully though, as of E3 2015, it seems like our wishes are finally becoming a reality. To be honest, I'd been burned so many times at E3 in the past, I genuinely wasn't expecting the announcement. It shocked me so much that I can only describe it as seeing a friend or relative you thought was dead for years coming back to life. It was that shocking and surprising. I was in complete and utter total disbelief.
Here, right in front of me, was Shenfa and Ryo walking through Guilin, continuing their adventures. They had new looks, there was the Shenmue music, and the crowd was going wild. And I was totally and utterly dumbstruck. A few years ago, Yu Suzuki said that he would look into Kickstarter and funding Shenmue through that. At E3 2015, he announced that he had done the research and was giving the fans the opportunity to fund the project and finally get it underway. The campaign needed $2 million to make the project a reality, which it achieved in just under 24 hours.
14 years have passed since Shenmue 2 first went on sale. Wherever I go, what's up with 3? What's up with 3? When's 3 coming out? And after looking into it, I decided to make Shenmue 3 through Kickstarter.
It's still hard to believe that Shenmue 3 is really happening. Over the years I'd become so accustomed to disappointment that in a way this almost felt like a dream. But reality soon surfaced when people started calling out Kickstarter as a scam. Now, regardless of what people might think, the individuals were in full control over what they pledged, and the rewards were made very clear. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind not only will Yu Suzuki make a fantastic game, but deliver on each and every one of Kickstarter's promises. No one has been scammed. They are being rewarded for their loyalty and goodwill towards a game that's been in development hell for 14 years. To me, that doesn't sound like a project that has viable alternatives. The more money Kickstarter made, the more epic the game was promised to be. The campaign was so successful it broke 2 world records, the fastest crowdfunding game to reach 1 million and the most funded Kickstarter video game ever. But all that aside, going back to a time when I would have just been grateful to read the game's script, Shenmue 3 is nothing but good news. I'm not going to bog myself down with trolls, negativity and nitpicking the graphics. I'm just going to look forward to being totally immersed in a game that I know will be great and put my trust in Yu Suzuki, whose dedication and hard work has never given me reason to doubt. The Shenmue fanbase is simply amazing. Not only are we the most patient people in perhaps the entire world, but there have been some fantastic efforts made by fans to fill in what was once an everyday Shenmue 3 void. Gang Entertainment has done extensive research into the story and produced a trilogy of comedic films. The final one in particular caught my attention as it makes some very analytical, logistical and intelligent choices about where the story is likely to go.
I couldn't sleep either. I kept thinking about what happened in the cave yesterday.
It was only yesterday? It felt like we were in there for years.
I'd also found someone who had modded Dead or Alive so that fans were able to have the final showdown with LanDi as a consolation to a sequel that was once considered a very unlikely dream. The work on both of these pieces is incredible and I've linked to their YouTube pages below, so please make sure you check them out. As Ryo's quest goes on, he meets a variety of different characters. Some of the most important are Nozomi, Ryo's childhood friend and potential sweetheart, who works at a flower shop before leaving for Canada. Before she goes, she gives Ryo an amulet to keep him safe. Ren,
take a look! Great view!
A knife-wielding, money-obsessed trickster, may come across as dangerous, which he is, but deep down he also has a good heart.
A kid seeking revenge. You're too young for that.
What does a petty thief know about revenge?
You talk like a grown man.
Guizhang, a well-trained martial arts expert who is hostile towards Ryo at first, but later begins to respect his endeavors.
You know, you're not too bad.
Nor you.
Chai, a creepy skinhead with an unusual fighting style. Chai works for LanDi and almost manages to steal the Phoenix Mirror off of Ryo. Joy, a well-known and very liked individual based in Hong Kong. She rides a motorcycle and has no problem expressing how she feels, although I have no idea where she's going in this scene. Joy? That's a dead end. Xu Yinghong, a highly intelligent, thoughtful martial artist with a troubled background, tries to stop Ryo defeating evil with evil by teaching him patience and serenity.
あなたは邪道に落ちてはいけない。
俺は行かなきゃならないんだ。
But Ryo is so consumed with revenge that this is not an easy task. The Kickstarter campaign brought Shenmue back into the spotlight and had fans obsessing over the amount of money being made, with donation rewards ranging from digital copies to having your name in the credits and a dinner with Yu Suzuki himself. There were very good incentives to make decent pledges. But of course, with every good thing that happens on the internet, there are always lurking trolls ready to spoil the fun. The campaign had its fair share of trolls who made big pledges before taking them away again. As a result, the funding went up and down like a roller coaster. Thankfully, the fans outweighed the trolls and saw the campaign through with one of the most kindest, most level-headed fan bases I've seen in a long time. Again, watching silently in the background, I have seen a real community spirit and atmosphere, especially with groups like Shenmue 500K, where people are mostly decent and humane to one another. To be honest, this sort of tolerant behaviour makes me proud to be part of the Shenmue fanbase. The Kickstarter ended on Saturday, July the 18th, 2015, scooping more than enough money to make a decent version of the game. During this time, Yu Suzuki released many concept images of the game, and Ryo's actor Koro Marshall was confirmed to reprise his role as the voice actor of Ryo Hazuki. Yu Suzuki continues to release information as we get closer and closer to the game's release.
So all I want to say basically now is I want you guys to raise your glasses, whether they're the glasses on your face or a wine glass that you happen to have with you, or just the nearest bloody thing that happens to be near you. Pick up your phone, raise your phone. Raise your phone to one of the most emotionally powerful, fantastically written, beautifully detailed and wonderfully crafted games of all time. Here's to Shenmue.
The absolute final thing that I wanted to say was a big thank you to Yu Suzuki himself. It's inspiring to see a man so dedicated to his dream. He's put his heart and soul into this project, which makes it all the more enjoyable to be a part of the experience, because he loves it so and because he appreciates the fans so much. It is fantastic to be part of a community that so well respects each other and works together to create something that is enjoyed and loved by so many people. As I said before, Shenmue is not just a game, it's an experience. It's an experience that brings together a massive community spirit that I think we should all be very proud to be a part of. I know I am. Once again, here's to Shenmue. Nintendo has proved time and time and time again that they are one of the biggest and best game manufacturers in the world, and it's not hard to see why when they have been making consoles and games longer than anyone else. Mario is their flagship mascot and regarded as one of the most important and iconic video game characters ever.